Yo, what's good YouTube? Zamcrow here, aka Scoop, back with the Continental Pokemon Championship, the CPC League here. We're going into the 7th season. I joined during Season 5's D-League, main Season 5, don't know what Season D-League that was. But yeah, we joined the D-League taking over for Styx, who took over for somebody in the majors, and we made it to the quarterfinals. And we also joined the CPC March Madness All Star Tour to get a position as a CPC representative in March Madness of 2018, and we were able to win that, and we actually represented the CPC in March Madness as well as being promoted to the Major League for Season 6 last season, where we lost every game except our last one, which is a little bit unfortunate, especially because of the circumstances and the way we lost. So here we are, reborn as the Phoenix. We're Zamcrow still, but yeah, we're going into Season 7, and we've got a new draft, and we're gonna hop into it and talk about it a little bit. All right, so our first pick is Clefable. Clefable is phenomenal. We had third pick. We actually were able to... Okay, so the CPC rewards players for uploading. It's not required, but you know, there are incentives, and we were able to collect enough CPC tokens last season to actually auction for what draft position we wanted. And so I bid for the third overall pick. Reason being for third overall pick was because there was only 2 players that could potentially get first or second pick, and if those 2 players didn't bid for the first or second pick, then I was going to bid for it at the end game. But I actually we started the draft beforehand, so I got stuck with third spot, which really didn't matter. I didn't think anybody would take Clefable. I actually had Kieran Black in mind, but I ran a poll on Twitter for what dragon you wanted me to use, and I drafted that dragon. So we'll get to that in a minute. First off, we're talking about Clefable though. So Clefable stats, as you can see on the right hand of the screen, are base 95 HP, 70 attack, 73 defense, 95 base special attack, 90 special defense, and 60 speed. So not that great, but it has a phenomenal singular typing with the fairy typing, and it has 2 amazing abilities in Unaware, which disregards stat changes for your opponent and yourself, which is awesome. They're very awesome. And then there's Magic Guard, which you only take damage from direct attacks, so you don't take Stealth Rock damage, you don't take Toxic or Will-O-Wisp burn damage or anything like that, so that's really nice. And this thing gets Stealth Rocks. It has an awesome move pool, the ability to set up Cosmic Power, Calm Mind, so on and so forth. It gets Encore, which is really nice, Heal Bell, and Aromatherapy. Just in case somebody's got soundproof or something like that, I can still use Aromatherapy. It gets Healing Wish, which is a really nice tech. Bolt Beam, Calm Mind, and Soft Boil or Wish is really cool. A Bolt Beam's really nice, so having Clefable being able to set up and avoid toxic damage to be, to wear me down or anything like that's really nice. It gets Magic Coat, Light Screen. I think it gets Reflect, don't quote me on that one though. Nice powerful Stab Moonblast, which is really cool. It gets the Thunder Wave, and like I mentioned earlier, Wish, Protect, Shenanigans, pass off wishes to the rest of my team, which we'll see in a minute. My team appreciates wishes, which is really nice. Not really nice that my team needs wishes, but it's really nice that I can take advantage of wishes. So yeah, this thing gets phenomenal coverage. I'm not going to go over every move it gets because it's really insane. It gets some cool techs as well, and just can be a very, very nice Pokemon overall. And with the Magic Guard, like I mentioned, it doesn't take recoil damage, so using a Life Orb could be nice to catch an opponent off guard, maybe 3 attacks Soft Boiled, or Calm Mind 2 attacks Soft Boiled, or something like that. But yeah, that's going to be it for Clefable, and we can hop on to our second pick. So for our second pick, we've got Big Body Mamoswine here. This thing is amazing. I've always been a huge fan of Mammoth Swine. Its speed tier is perfectly fine for a mon that has base 110 HP and 80 defense and 60 special defense. It gets Eye Shard as well, which gives it priority, so its speed necessarily might not be a problem. If I can use like a Life Orb or Banded Eye Shard with this whopping base 130 attack stat, it should be fine. We've got the Thick Fat ability, Oblivious ability. If you don't know, Thick Fat makes it to where fire types and ice types do half damage, which is really nice. And Oblivious, basically you can't be taunted or infatuated or anything like that. So I've got a second Stealth Rocker with my second pick, which is really nice. Earthquake spam is super cool in league format, especially if your opponent's not able to switch into ground types outside of a grass type. With Mammal Swine, that's not going to be a thing. And this thing gets some cool attacks like Freeze Dry, and like I mentioned, it does get Eye Shard, which is nice. Knockoff is cool utility, and just a powerful Life Orb attack if I'm facing something like a Mew or like a Bronzong or something like that. Not that I'm not saying I don't have Mew or Bronzong, I'm just saying this thing gets Light Screen and Reflect, which is two cool attacks. It gets Endeavor, which is really nice, and it gets pretty cool coverage like Superpower, Stone Edge, so on and so forth. But I think Mammal Swine's really good at running Stealth Rocks, Earthquake, Icicle Crash, Ice Shard with like a Life Orb, Choice Band, Focus Sash, even a Choice Scarf. Sometimes Metronome, Icicle Plate, Earth Plate, whatever. Mammal Swine is an amazing wall breaker, and I'm looking forward to using it again. But yeah, that's going to be it for our second pick, and we can move on to our third pick now. Alright, so next up, Greninja. I love Greninja. It may not be protein, but it still does the work we need it to. Maybe not like as well as protein could, obviously. But Torque Greninja is still phenomenal mon. Easily a round 3 pick, if not a round 2 pick. The thing has amazing speed, base 122. As you can see on the right hand side of the screen. Very usable special attack and attack, and an amazing, very amazing move pool. Almost up there with Mew, not quite Mew level, but definitely up there. First of all, it gets Stab, Water, and Dark type attacks with things like Surf, Hydro Pump, Waterfall, Dark Pulse, Night Slash, so on and so forth. It gets really great coverage, Ice Beam, Ice Punch, Low Kick, Power Up Punch. It even gets Quick Attack, gets Haze, Gunk Shot, Grass Knot, Extra Sensory, Quick Attack, Rock Slide, Shadow Sneak, all kinds of priority. It gets Taunt, Toxic Spikes, and regular spikes. So, like, I have 2 Rockers, a Spiker, and a Toxic Spiker. In my first 3 picks, it has Stab, Water Shuriken priority, which is really nice. It gets you access to U-Turn, which could be nice to bring in Mammal Swine, especially if my opponent has like a fat grass type that can just take on Greninja for days. I can predict a grass type coming in, U-turn out into Mammal Swine, and let Mammal Swine do its thing. Like I mentioned, grass types aren't the best stop for Mammal Swine's Earthquake spam. And yeah, this thing gets phenomenal coverage, like I was mentioning. It's a really nice Life Orb or like Splash Plate or Dread Plate or something like that. Can clean up late game, can set up hazards, can use Taunt, prevent other things from being setting up hazards and being annoying with like Wish Protect spam or like Soft Boiled or anything like that. But that's going to be it for Greninja, and we can move on to our 4th pick. Azumarill is going to be our 4th pick. This thing has 3 great abilities: Huge Power, Sap Super, Thick Fat. Huge Power is going to be there a lot, while we're going to be offensive and things like that. Choice Band sets, Belly Drum sets. Sap Sipper is going to be more of like a defensive row, and Thick Fat can be said, the same way. Thick Fat I mentioned with Mammal Swine. I don't think I need to mention that ability anymore. Sap Sipper makes you immune to grass types, gives you an attack boost, which is really nice. And Huge Power doubles my attack stat, so sets me at base 100 attack. which is really nice, with base 100 HP and 80 in both defenses. This thing's pretty fat and has a pretty solid typing in Water Fairy. And then its speed's not that great, but like I mentioned, if I'm using it offensively, it's going to be more like a belly drum or like a choice band Aqua Jet set or something like that. So got to look out for it anyway. Very, very cool mon. Has, like I said, Aqua Jet, Waterfall, Play Rough, choice band sets. Gets belly drum. Belly drum Aqua Jet's pretty common. Knockoff is really nice. It gets Ice Punch, Liquidation. Superpower for things like Ferrothorn, or I guess just Ferrothorn. Yeah, but it gets Seismic Toss. It gets some cool techs like Whirlpool, Perish Song, Toxic, Protect, so on and so forth. And can just be a generally fat mon. And it's also another really, really great breaker, and can maybe weaken grass types for Greninja. You might have to dedicate your defensive grass type to check Azu, open up a hole for Greninja in the late game or something like that. So yeah, that's the idea behind this thing. It's really, really solid mon. I've seen it used to good success before. I may have used it before, but I don't recall using it like at a high level or anything like that. So looking forward to using it, and we can move on to our 5th pick. So Bronzong was our 5th pick, and this thing, like, I don't really need to talk about it much. You guys see me use it, I mean, in a plethora of leagues. Like, I use it all the time. It's such a reliable steel type. I think it's very underrated, despite how, how consistent it's been for years now, in my opinion. Has terrible speed, which makes it great for a Gyro Ball user and a Trick Room user. Has phenomenal defenses at 116 defense. Has phenomenal defenses at 116 defense and 116 special defense, and decent attack and special attack, and has access to setup moves. So it's really nice. It can go boom with explosion. It's another reliable stealth rock user. So what we have, basically all of our mons outside of Azu can set up some sort of hazard so far, and we've got 3 very reliable stealth rockers. And like I mentioned, this thing can be a Trick Room setter or something like that for something like Mamoswine or Azu, or one of my, I got another pick in 2 picks. My 7th pick is going to be another mon that could thrive under Trick Room as well. So yeah, we'll look forward to that. But yeah, this thing has 2 great abilities: Levitate and Heat Proof, which make it immune to, or just not super effective, weak to fire. And then Levitate obviously makes it immune to ground types that don't have Mold Breaker or anything like that. But that's going to be it, and we can move on to our 6th pick, which I'm excited about. Snorlax. Oh man, I love this fat boy. That's even what we nickname it. So this thing's got Thick Fat, another mon like Mamo and Azu. I'm not going to talk about Thick Fat. Gluttony is an ability that, like, it allows you to eat your berry at half instead of like 1/4 berries or something like that. It uses it at half health instead of waiting until you get down to 1/4 health, which is really cool. Recycle sets become insane with that ability, and certain berries, so on and so forth. Curse, Gluttony with like a Figgy Berry or something like that. And Recycle is just very annoying to deal with. Immunity is really nice, can be immune to being poisoned, which is super cool. Has base 110 attack, so yeah, it's not going to be like setup fodder or anything like that for anything. Has base 160 HP, which is fucking insane, and base 65 defense and 110 special defense. So basically you just max out this thing's defense, and then put your leftover EVs wherever you want them, depending on if you want to be a little bit fatter or a little bit more offensive, a little bit faster. This thing, that's just when you're wanting to be like a defensive check. But if you want to be a SPDF check or be an offensive variant, you don't really need to invest into your special defense or anything like that. You can be, or your HP, I should say. You can invest all your EVs in your attack, special defense. This thing's very, very flexible. And then you can have very, 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 very customized EVs to where you can avoid 2-hit and 3-hit KOs from all sorts of mons. This thing's so fat. And yeah, it can be a really nice Rest Hawk variant, Curse, mono normal type, Spam, something like that. choice band explosion, something like that. Like, I love this thing. So yeah, very excited to use it. And I know like Gen 1 fanatics love Snorlax. So anybody that might be a fan, hope you enjoy too. Next up, we can move on to our 7th pick. So I said our 7th pick would definitely enjoy some Trick Room shenanigans. And we've got Embor here, another phenomenal breaker. I see a trend though. We've got Mamoswine, Azu, and Embor. 3 physical attacking wall breakers. So I wanted something that could absorb a Will-O-Wisp and still be a wall breaker. So we've got Embor here. This thing has very usable special attack as well, but mostly going to be seeing like Reckless. You might see a Blaze set if I'm not running Flare Blitz. If I'm running like a Choice Scarf Embor with Fire Punch and Superpower or something like that, and I'm not running like Wild Charge or Flare Blitz or anything, that Reckless would help. I'm obviously going to run Blaze because Reckless would just be useless, and Blaze could be situational, but it won't be absolutely useless. It could come in handy. Base 110 HP stat is insane, and it's got a pretty cool typing and has access to Will-O-Wisp, so that's really nice. And like I mentioned, immune to Will-O-Wisp being a fire type, firefighting type. Very, very nice offensive typing with like Fire Blast, Flare Blitz, Superpower. I'm pretty sure, let me double check. I think it gets Focus Blast. Yes, it gets Focus Blast. So it gets these stab attacks that are like base 120, base 110 base attacks, and it just hits insanely hard. Especially Flare Blitz with the Reckless ability and that base 123 attack stat. Adamant Choice Band, this thing just murks. It gets access to Head Smash and Poison Jab. Power Up Punch is really nice. Sucker Punch and Taunt. Like I mentioned, Will-O-Wisp, it gets Zen Headbutt, which is really cool. And Gyro Ball. Heat Wave, and then it gets Scald. This thing gets Scald. Now I'm going to end it there. This thing gets Scald. We'll move on to our next pick. Our 8th pick is going to be Rotom Ghost. Just the regular Rotom. No appliances are going to be possessed in this for this Rotom. We have base 50 HP. All the stats are on the right hand side. Its standout stats are special attack and speed, base 95 and 91 respectively. It has the Levitate ability, so its electric type weakness is non-existent, meaning it's only weak to dark and ghost types. But it gets access to Volt Switch. You can Volt Switch out of there. It gets Defog, which is really nice. Despite having Hazard Stack of my own, it might be nice to get rid of Defog, or get rid of hazards with Defog. It gets Discharge and Hex, which could be a nice combination. Could paralyze something, then Hex it, and it would go to base 130 special attack for the Ghost type move because of the status. And then you've got Light Screen, Reflect, Pain Split, Shadow Ball, Signal Beam, Sucker Punch, Thunderbolt, Thunder Wave, Trick, Volt Switch, Will-O-Wisp, all sorts of nice things, and some cool text for an electric type. Having that part Ghost type with the Will-O-Wisp and the Shadow Ball and so on and so forth. It's really nice. And like I mentioned, it gets Sucker Punch, which could be a nice little tech there. A nice reliable defogger and a pretty quick. Not the fastest, obviously, but it's pretty quick for an electric type. Or I guess it's actually pretty slow for an electric type, but it'll do the job. It'll do the job. Gives me some Volt Switch spam to bring in things like Embor, Mamoswine, and Azu. Potentially Snorlax if I'm running like a breaker set with like a Choice Banded Double Edge or something like that. But yeah, we can move on to our 9th pick. Tornadus Incarnate has one of the sickest designs, one of the best looking genies. Like really all the genies look cool, but Torn Eye and Thundy Eye looks sick. Their colors are phenomenal. This one looks like he's been tripping acid or something. It's got phenomenal attack stats, base 115 and base 125 attack and special attack respectively. Base 111 speed, which is a really, really nice bump above 110. So yeah, being able to outpace 110s is really cool. It has okay defenses, average basically, but has really cool abilities and the singular flying typing, which is really cool. It has the Prankster and the Defiant ability. So priority, your status moves have +1 priority basically, except that dark types are immune. And then you have the Defiant ability where your attack is raised by 2 stats. or by 2 stat changes that are, if you have your speed or your special attack, or you're intimidated and you have an attack drop or something like that, your attack stat is raised for each stat that you have that's lowered by your opponent, which is really cool. Phenomenal stats for an offensive mixed attacker, or just go all out in special attack or attack, either or, especially if you're boosted by like a life orb. This thing is one of my Z move users, along with Embor, which I didn't mention. Embor is a nice Z move user, and Torn is also another nice Z move user. You can have one Z move user that can have access to anything except Omni boosting and evasion boosting Z moves. So my Tornadus, I can use like Z Rain Dance, for example, Z Agility, Z Brick Break, Acrobatics, Dark Pulse, whatever it may be. But Embor can only use attacking Z moves, so I can only use like Flare Blitz. I can't use Z Sunny Day or anything like that. Just want to point that out. And it had to be 9 points or less, so that's why Embor is my second Z move user, and I'm not using like Tornadus Eye and like Greninja or something. Anyways, this thing has a pretty cool moveset. For a mixed attacker, it gets Acrobatics, Bulk Up, Brick Break. It gets Agility, Air Slash, Dark Pulse, Extra Sensory. It gets a nice Defog, which is cool. Extra Sensory, Focus Blast, Foul Play, Grass Knot, Hammer Arm, Heat Wave, Knockoff, Hurricane, which is nice stab. Z Hurricanes are really nice. Gets Psychic, Sludge Bomb, Sludge Wave, Superpower, Tailwind, Taunt, U-Turn. So I got another U-Turn Mon here to get that momentum for the Volt Switch into Mamoswine, Azu, and Embor. It's just going to be hard to stop those 3 Mons. It's going to be hard to stop those 3 Mons. Like, if somebody has a check to all those Mons, it's going to be insane. Like, you got to have something like, I can't think of nothing off the top of my head, so I'm not going to try. But yeah, this thing has all kinds of moves and things like Tailwind, Taunt, Roleplay, where I can take advantage of Prankster. Prankster Rain Dance or Z Rain Dance or something like that, give me a speed boost and make my Hurricanes 100% accurate. I could be like a modest max special attack, Z Rain Dance, Hurricane, Hidden Power, Water or Ice or something with either another coverage move or just another tech or something like that. But yeah, it's going to be it for this Mon. I think it's a really interesting Mon. I'm super excited to use it. Hopefully it can show off a little bit. But it's going to be it, and we can move on to our 10th pick. So probably the weirdest pick and the most interesting Pokemon on my squad, Oricorio. This thing has 4 different forms, as you can see on screen. It has the bottom left red bird form, where it's a fire flying type. It has its Pau form, which is top left, the pink one, Oricorio Pau. So the red one's the normal form. It has no secondary name. The top left, the pink one, has the Pau at the end. The purple one on the top right hand side is Sensu, Oricorio Sensu, and then the bottom right hand side, the yellow one, the cutest one in my opinion, Oricorio Pom Pom. It's basically a cheerleader, and it is an electric flying type. The purple one is a ghost flying type. So we've got a fire flying, psychic flying, electric flying, and ghost flying type here. And it's got an ability called Dancer, which really isn't important. After another Pokemon uses a dance move, this Pokemon uses the same move. So a little bit weird, I guess, like Dragon Dance could be cool. But anyways, you see the stats on the right hand side, not that crazy, not anything super phenomenal. It does have decent speed and decent special attack though, with access to agility and Calm Mind, which is really nice. The thing about this monster is it has the ability to baton pass an agility. It has the ability to baton pass a Calm Mind. It has Revelation Dance, which is a base 90 special attack normal type move, which with its secondary ability for Revelation Dance is it changes to the typing of your primary type, which would be fire, psychic, ghost, and electric for these Oricorio forms, which is really cool. It gets access to Swords Dance and Tailwind, so it can baton pass the Swords Dance, which is really cool. It gets Taunt and U-Turn, Toxic, which is nice. I think all mons get Toxic though. It gets Icy Wind, Mirror Move, Quash, Roleplay, some cool techs, Steel Wing, Workup, so on and so forth. It also gets Teeter Dance and Swagger, which Swagger's banned, but it's worth mentioning. So this mon's very, 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 very weird, very interesting. I'm excited to see it used, or I'm excited to use it. Excuse me. I've seen it used. One of my buddies is an innovator for Oricorio, in my opinion. I didn't know anything about it before. My buddy Kirby showed it off a little bit, but that's gonna be it, and we can move on to our last pick, which I am the most excited about because I wanted to draft this thing for years now, and I finally just said fuck it, and I drafted this motherfucker. Finally, we've drafted this monster, Mega Sceptile. This thing has a whopping base 145 special attack and speed. Yes, special attack and speed, base 145 and base 110 attack, with mediocre defenses, but it's okay. It's a nice Scald, and water type move switch in, being Grass and Dragon, quad resistant. But other than that, it's not, bulky at all or anything like that. Base 70, 75, and 85 HP, defense, and special defense respectively. But yeah, its standout is its special attack and speed. Maxes out at like 427 or something like that, which is insane. Has access to Leaf Storm, which is a stab nuke. Phenomenal. Gets Dragon Pulse. If this thing got Draco Meteor, would be insane. This thing would be broken with like Draco, Leaf Storm, and Contrary or something like that. That would be broken. So you guys wonder why this thing has the ability Lightning Rod while it's already 4 times resistant to electric types. Look at it, first of all, it looks like something that would just draw electricity, and then it gets a special attack boost if it's hit by an electric type move, which is awesome. First of all, it's immune, so when it gets hit, it doesn't take damage. Second of all, it gets a special attack boost, which is phenomenal. And yeah, so it gets Leaf Blade, Dragon Claw, Rock Slide. It gets some other cool physical attack moves too, like Earthquake and Brick Break. But yeah, mostly going to be running like a Leaf Storm, Dragon Pulse set, maybe Giga Drain or Energy Ball. It has some cool techs like Endeavor and Pursuit, Quick Attack, some things that might catch an opponent off guard. Yeah, it can be annoying with like Leech Seed Synthesis, Sub Giga, Toxic, Thunder Punch, X Scissor. Some really cool coverage, but I'm not going to try to stray away from using this thing as, like what it's best at. And that's coming in, clicking Leaf Storm, knocking something out, or coming in the late game, click Swords Dance or Workup or something like that, and then just sweep through the late game if they're weakened enough for a Mega Sceptile. And like something like Workup, Dragon Pulse, Energy Ball, or Sub Giga Drain or something like that can really put the pressure on opponents, and so on and so forth. I'm super excited. This is like one of my favorite Pokemon ever, Sceptile, especially since it got a Mega, and its design's phenomenal. Love it, shiny. It's even better. So Mega Sceptile, Mega Blaziken, Mega Swampert. Those 3 Megas have 3 of the coolest Megas for starters, outside of like Mega Charizard and Mega Venusaur, and Mega Blastoise. Dang, man, that's tough. Anyways, more starters should get Megas. Mega Sceptile is awesome, and this is my draft for the CPC. So yeah, that's going to be it for my draft. Really excited to use these Pokemon, especially Tornadus Eye, Mega Sceptile. Those are the 2 biggest that I'm really excited to use. I've used basically the rest of them before. Azu, like, I'm not super excited to use it. I know what it's going to do, and I know how it's going to be like average stats, probably have the same amount of deaths as it has kills, so on and so forth. I don't think it's going to, it could be definitely a game saver with like a Belly Drum set with Aqua Jet or something like that. It could definitely save a game. But I'm really excited to see how Tornadus Eye and Mega Sceptile, how I can build with them, how I can use them to support the rest of the team, and things like that. Obviously, I'm excited to use Clefable, Mamoswine, Greninja, Azu, Bronzong, Snorlax, Emboar, Rotom, Torn, Oricorio, all forms, and Mega Sceptile. But mostly looking forward to Torn Eye and Mega Sceptile. I think their designs are great. They're 2 of my favorite designs in the game. Torn has to make the top 25 list easily. Mega Sceptile top 10. especially in terms of my favorite Pokemon. I'm really excited to use Emboar, Azu, and Mamoswine. I think those 3 mons are going to be insanely hard to stop. Like if I brought all 3 as like Life Orb, Choice Band, or something like that, or like Life Orb, Mamoswine, Choice Band, Azu, and Emboar, it'd be really hard to switch into those 3 mons with one squad. Unless you brought like 6 defensive mons or something like that. Or there's a mon that I'm not thinking of off the top of my head that could wall those. But anyways, yeah, super excited for this season, especially after last season. I didn't perform to my standard, and looking to bounce back this season and hopefully claim a chip. But that's going to be it. Let me know what you think about the draft. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe, all the good stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.